Open your Bibles to Revelation chapter 18. Let's start with verse 3. If you missed any of the teachings that leads up to this, in this particular section of the series, then I recommend you listen to them on the internet. They're not available in print yet. Revelation 18:3 reads, "For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication." Whose fornication? Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots. That's an abomination of the earth, which we've covered. In this case, predominantly Saudi Arabia. For all nations they have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. And the merchants, circle that word merchants, of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance, or you could use a better translation there, would be power of her delicacies or strength. The power of her strength, what gave her the strength, is the ability to pull oil out of the ground and make a fortune with that commodity. Jump down to verse 9. "And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city of Babylon, that mighty city, for 1 hour is thy judgment come. And the merchants," here we got the word merchants again, "of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise any more." Now the merchants not only buy from her, mostly oil, but they also sell to her. And I'll get to that in a minute. The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and of pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet and all fine wood or sweet wood, and all manner of vessels of ivory, and all manner of vessels of most precious wood, and of brass and iron and marble, and cinnamon and odors and ointments and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves, or bodies, could be also used there, and souls of men. And the fruits that thou so lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. The merchants, and that's what we're focusing on today, is the merchants. The merchants of these things which were made rich by her shall stand afar off for fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, Alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. For 1 hour so great riches is come to naught. And every shipmaster and all the companies and ships, the cargo ships that come and go, and sailors, and as many as trade by sea, stood afar off. And they cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What is like unto this great city? And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, this great city we were made rich, all that had ships in the sea, by reason of her costliness. For in 1 hour she is made desolate. That's a lot of verses focusing on not only the merchants, but what Saudi Arabia, in this case, buys and sells to keep merchants and this whore rich and prosperous. But that will come to an end. And it will end quickly when it happens. The main reason why it became powerful and it gained strength is because of its oil, Saudi oil. Merchants, ships made, this be a low number, but billions and billions of US dollars. And all nations have become drunken with their delicacies. Now let me read you something from a different source that I've been reading from. Babylon is inside a desert. We already covered this. Therefore, all the products and luxurious objects that are mentioned in Revelation 18, 11 through 13, must come from importation. They don't produce it, so they have to import it. This is one of the reasons why many merchants of the earth have gotten rich with her. I mean, they've made so much money in the selling of their greatest commodity, oil, and they didn't hold back on purchase of things that they saw as necessary things and things of luxury, and they imported those things in cargo ship after cargo ship, constantly sailing into those ports. Only brought a stronger desire for them to have those things that now they could afford, and now they can buy, and now they can live in a lap of luxury using all the things that the merchants brought to them. It must come from importation. This is one of the reasons why many merchants of the earth have gotten rich with her. Another reason is because the land of Babylon is full of oil. The Energy Information Administration is reporting today, and this is a few years old already, that Saudi Arabia was the world's largest producer and exporter of petroleum and other liquids in 2012. So that's about 4 years ago. Producing an average of 11.6 million barrels per day and exporting an estimated 8.6 million barrels per day net. In 2012, the average price of oil per barrel, $50, it's less than that I think now, Saudi Arabia earned about 430 million US dollars per day. All the words in the book of Revelation are important, especially Revelation 18, 11, and 12. We have to look for a city in a desert that uses all these products. Once again, Mecca fits like a glove. Mecca was a very lucrative business center based on large-scale commercial transactions. Their goods were transported in caravans to different countries of Asia and Africa. Africa mostly imported resin, ivory, gold, and ebony. In Yemen, leather, incense, spices, sandalwood, and saffron. From Egypt and Syria, oils and food grains, armor, silk, and wines. From Iraq, especially clothing from India, gold, tin, precious stones, and ivory. Sometimes wealthy merchants of Mecca offered to kings and nobles foreign goods of Mecca. The most appreciated were the leather products. Mecca was then the main mall of Arabia, and its people were rich. Returning from Syria, the caravan of Quraysh, who participated in the Battle of Bar, included hundreds of camels carrying goods valued at more than 50,000 dinars. Today, Saudi Arabia and Mecca import from India, Africa, and the Middle East cargo destined for the luxury and ornamentation of mosques, buildings, houses, and hotels, gold, pearls, linen, silk, precious woods, marble, and ivory objects. Saudi Arabia is an arid desert, a place where almost nothing can grow. Therefore, agriculture, textiles, and livestock are quite difficult to find there. This country doesn't produce anything at all. It is forced to import foreign knowledge, lust, and property around the world. In verse 13 it reads, "And cinnamon and odors and ointments and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men." Australia sends most of its exports of live sheep to the Middle East, with its main client Kuwait, followed by Bahrain, Jordan, and Qatar. Other countries demand live sheep exports from Australia also: Oman, United Arab Emirates, and Saudi Arabia. During 2009 and 2010, Kuwaiti imported 953,587 sheep, representing 31.17% of total sheep exports from Australia. Bahrain imported 597,893 sheep with a value of 55.1 million, according to the official statistics. Saudi Arabia imports, listen to this, 17.9 million sheep each year. 17.9 million sheep each year, and more than 1 million are killed in Mecca during the Islamic pilgrimage. Live animals Australians are renowned for their high quality and disease-free status and are in high demand in the Middle East, particularly during the religious festival. Linen is one of the first fibers that people made into string and cloth. Now we're moving on to linen. Linen comes, let's go, move on to linen. Linen is one of the finest fibers that people made into string and cloth. Linen comes from the flax plant, which grows all over the Mediterranean region in Central Asia. In the first millennium BC, the Egyptians mostly wore linen, while Greeks and West Asians and Germans mostly wore wool. By the Roman period, however, many people wore linen tunics for comfort and wool robes over them for warmth. And in the Middle Ages in Europe, this continued to be common, so that the linen got to mean something like underwear. Our word lingerie is related to linen. In the Islamic Empire, on the other hand, people began to wear mainly linen and cotton and not so much wool. The leading markets for made-ups are USA, Germany, United Arab Emirates, the UK, Italy, France, Spain, and Saudi Arabia. The fast emerging markets during 2006 and 2007 are Germany at 28%, United Arab Emirates at 31%, Saudi Arabia at 19%, Nigeria at 207%, and Egypt at 134%. It has emerged as one of the most dynamic segments in India's MF textile export industries because of its rich and varied range, traditional and unique designs, and production techniques. Biblically, linen was used by priests during the service inside the temple. In Ezekiel 44, it reads, "They shall enter into my sanctuary, they shall come near to my table to minister unto me, and they shall keep my charge. And it shall come to pass that when they enter into the gates of the inner court, they shall be clothed with linen garments, and no wool shall come upon them. While they minister in the gates of the inner court and within, they shall have linen bonnets upon their heads, and shall have linen breeches upon their loins. They shall not gird themselves with anything that causes sweat. Because this material prevents from sweating and to protect from the sun, it makes sense to focus Babylon in a hot place. Saudi Arabia and Mecca fits like a glove. Arabs use white linen to protect from the UV of the sun. Women's burqas in Saudi Arabia are made of linen also. Concerning the four-wheeled carriages, and I'll just read this briefly, that you find in Revelations 18 and 13, John has probably seen modern cars that didn't even exist in his time because Babylon loves luxury. It's possible that she imports very expensive cars. Well, it's not possible. That's the truth. These cars belong to the rich Saudis. They are made with gold and diamonds. Saudi Arabia is very famous for the Arab horses. They are one of the top 10 most popular horse breeds in the world. You can find them in the United States and Canada, United Kingdom, Australia, continental Europe, South America, especially Brazil, and its land of origin, the Middle East. Concerning slaves and human souls, that you also find in Revelation 18:13. Foreign workers in Saudi Arabia represent about 15% of Saudi's population. Many foreign workers, estimated over 5 million, are employed in Saudi Arabia, a country in the Arabian Peninsula. The influx of foreign workers started soon after oil was discovered in the area in the late 1930s. Beginning with Arab and Western technical, professional, and administrative personnel, since then the nation has become increasingly dependent on foreign labor. And although foreign workers remain present in technical positions, most are now employed in the agricultural, cleaning, and domestic service industries. The hierarchy of foreign workers is often dependent upon their country of origin, with workers from Arab and Western countries generally holding the greatest positions not held by the Saudis, and the lower positions occupied by persons from Africa, the Indian continent, and Southeast Asia. Babylon will be devoted to the importation of bodies and souls of men. Not will be, they already are. Pay attention. John disassociates slaves and souls of men. Mecca, a city dedicated to the import of men and women. This great city participates in the physical and intellectual slavery. This is exactly what happens to all immigrants from Africa and Indonesia, regulated to be the domestic slaves of the rich Saudis. Notables and wealthy Saudis bring prostitutes from Asia and Africa to their subsoil. Finally, Saudi Arabia and Mecca employ souls of men, architects, engineers from all over the world. That's from that source. Let me read you from the source that I was reading from you last time. This starts in Isaiah 46, verses 5 and 6. I'll read you the verse. You can read it on your own time. Woe, woe, a great city dressed in fine linen, purple and scarlet and glittering with gold, precious stones and pearls. In 1 hour, such great wealth has been brought to ruin. That's Revelation 18:16, not Isaiah. God speaks to the heathen. Now in Isaiah 46, to whom will you liken me, that we should be alike? They lavish gold out of the bag and weigh silver on the scales. They hire a goldsmith, and he makes it a god. They prostrate themselves, yes, they worship. Isaiah 46, verse 5 and 6. Muslims deck the black stone idol that they liken to God with gold and silver and prostrate themselves to it as Isaiah predicted. Mecca and Medina are decked with much gold, gems, and pearls. Arabia is also famous for its gold markets, or souks, S-O-U-Q-S. The Mall of Arabia is home of the gold souk, which has over 450 jewelry and gold shops in one location. Not just in one location. Mystery Babylon prides itself on such imports, which we read, by the way, concerning the merchants in Revelation 11 through 13, with cargoes of gold, silver, precious stones, and pearls, and so forth. Remarkably, these are the very imports of Saudi Arabia today. The items may be divided into three categories, but they but they are all things she cannot produce herself. The three categories are luxury items, food items, which include both livestock and produce, and human slaves. Saudi Arabia imports humans for various reasons. Some may be legitimate, but others are clearly not. However, we are also told that there are many slaves in Mystery Babylon, and they will not have the freedom to flee. While most would like to imagine that slavery is a thing of the past, slavery thrives in various forms in many parts of the world today. Mystery Babylon imports men, women, and children, no doubt to maintain and bolster her excessively luxurious and sinful life. Saudi Arabia has been repeatedly condemned by numerous human rights watch groups for its horrific treatment of its vast foreign labor force. They have repeatedly reported to have a serious problem with importing young women and children as sex slaves. How in the world could this description be made to conform to the city of Rome? The last day, Babylon's excessive luxury and debauchery, which the harlot expresses that no one is aware of, is typical of the Saudi monarchy that is known for its hypocritical outward life of public pious and secret debauchery. Now, I can't get too much further because my voice is really starting to bother me. But the point I want to make this morning concerning these merchants, concerning what they deliver and what they pick up and then deliver to other parts of the world. And it happens to be a desert city, a desert location. You can't find that anywhere else in the world. Sure, there's people importing and exporting things all over the world, coming and going from numerous ports around this world. But you have to pinpoint it to a desert. It's not put in the scriptures by accident, my friend. It's giving us an idea what the location would be like. This future, this now present Mystery Babylon, this whore that only imports and exports material things that merchant can travel, but also their false doctrine created by Satan and his evil forces to mislead, misguide, and bring what truly Islam means in the first place: submission. You would have to submit to Islam or die or pay a very severe price just to stay alive through a taxing system. It's just another way to confirm, to look at a little bit of the details. They're not placed there in the book of Revelation by accident, what comes and goes in this harlot city and cities. It's there to give us, almost like a homing device would be like, to bring us to the right place, the right time, to put the details, as biblical detectives would do, together to see what God was referring to in these last days that we are living in. If you really think about it, God's Word is remarkable. Written thousands of years earlier, not just Old Testament, even go back further than thousands, but also the New Testament, to tie it in, to piece it together, to put another piece of the puzzle to direct us where and what and who to look for. Now, hopefully this has given you a little bit more insight. That's just another piece of the puzzle to fit the puzzle precisely to give you the big picture, what God is referring to. Now, if you got that, I want to hear from you. Play a song.